Hello and welcome. Today we'll be looking at the NAOMI II arcade system, released back in 2000, the follow-up to the original NAOMI system, both of which were based on Dreamcast hardware. Games released for the NAOMI systems include Powerup, Sega Tetris, Virtua Tennis, Beach Spikers and Virtua Fighter 4. A few of these games you may recognise from their ports to games consoles. So here's my NAOMI II setup. So this is a NAOMI II. I have Virtua Tennis inserted at the moment without the plastic on because it doesn't work when it's the actual cartridge. So if you ever have trouble playing the games, just take the plastic bit off and insert the board directly and it should work. So there's a NAOMI II Japanese version, so it should have the most compatibility with games, but because it is a Japanese version, it came with a Japanese power supply, which you can just about see here. So it also came with a step-down converter, as here in the UK we have 240 volts, and that power supply wants, I think it's 120. So the power supply goes into NAOMI via these two bottom connectors. I've got a VGA connector going off to my monitor. If you want to use a TV, it probably won't work, but you can use a VGA to HDMI adapter, which should work. I've got two audio cables here. The monitor doesn't have speakers, so I wired up a little one of these cheap amplifier boards with volume control, and it just goes to these speakers I took out or something. Okay, for inputs we have an I/O board here. This is Sega 837-13551. The wiring looks a bit complicated, but it's nothing compared to the original wire harness. So for inputs you could wire up an arcade stick, but I've wired up a Xbox original third-party controller. So I've literally connected wires to each switch directly, and then that goes off to that breakout board and then into the I/O board. Now if you wire directly up to the I/O board, you'll come into some surprises depending on the board you're using. So for me, you have to put this little loop in from pin 1 to 3, otherwise the board just doesn't work. So there's a little gotcha, things like that, but I have the information on my site. So that is the controls. We also have some outputs as well, because I'm going to be showing you Virtua Tennis. So if I can show you on the monitor, you can just about see there's an LED strip there. So I'll be showing you that in action. And this little yellow LED here is the other player LED, because I do one player, it won't really matter. And here I just have a transistor to drive the LED strip. Anything else to add? Yep, the I/O board connects to the NAOMI through a USB lead. It's not USB, naughty Sega didn't use a USB standard, but it's just a USB type socket. And that's basically it. Something of interest though, if we can just about make out along here, is a Maple bus. This is the same bus in the Dreamcast, so you can connect Dreamcast controllers, but not all games support Dreamcast peripherals, but there are quite a few that actually do. But generally you will need an I/O board such as this. So that is my setup, and I'll show you Virtua Tennis in action. So now we're going to turn the NAOMI on. See the light strip there. Now it will come into life shortly. And then it'll take a little while before we can actually play the game. But playing off a cartridge is quicker than off a GD-ROM disc, that's for sure. There we go, loading Power Smash. Power Smash is the what they call Virtua Tennis in Japan. And this is the Japanese NAOMI, so the instructional text for Virtua Tennis is in Japanese. But that's fine, because it's easy enough to play. The difficulty for this is set to normal. You can change it in the test menu. But I find on the Dreamcast normal is more difficult for some reason. Right, so here we go. Should be obvious who I'm going to play as. So see the one player light, the LED strip has come on now. Okay. Hammond to serve. Oops. Not doing very well. Oh, that was out, okay. Oopsie. Hardy Mario Tennis, but I always liked Virtua Tennis. That's out, surely, yes. So see, my light came on and went off. I love that the AI can get the ball out, so that's realistic. See, it comes on, goes off. Shows how good this camera is that I'm using. It's picking up the faces of the characters. Considering this didn't have the most detailed characters. For the time it's really good, don't get me wrong, but looking at it now it has dated quite a bit. I'm on the other side now. But do you see that the light was coming on and off? There you go. But on match point for some reason it doesn't. Now I'm going to the test menu now. So you just press the test switch on the Naomi and it loads the test mode. Okay, so there's lots of different options here, but I'm just going to go over a few. If we go to JVS test, you can see my I/O board listed. And if you go to input test, we can press different buttons on the controller, whatever you have wired up, and it changes from 0 to 1. See that the analog values are just changing constantly because there's nothing actually connected. And we do have a coin switch connected, so I can increase the coin number like so. Now if I exit, so use surface mode to select a menu option and test to select that option. So various different options here. You go to coin assignments, you can keep going through until you get to free play. That way you don't have to have a coin switch connected. There we go, free play. And if you go down to game test mode, this is a test mode especially for the game, so it changes for each game you have. Once that loads, so if you go to input test, it will have just the inputs for this game. Exit from that. Then if you go to output test, I go to 1P side check, so this is the light. It just flickers it and then flashes it, and the 2P light, which you probably can't see, is also going on and off, and the same for 2-player, and you can just turn it off. And then various other options, game assignments, so you can have hard, very hard, easy, normal. There's also a tournament mode, which all that seems to do, correct me if I'm wrong, is just allow you to enter your name. So don't know what else the reason is for, but that option is there. And that's it, a quick look at Virtua Tennis and a few of the test options. Okay, I just wanted to show you a comparison between a Naomi cartridge and another cart that have been around at the same time. Perhaps Mario 64 is not the best example, but N64 carts in general, and you can see quite a difference in size. But inside the Naomi cartridge there's a lot more going on and a lot higher capacity too. So along here we have an EPROM, a memory size selector, a lot of complex glue logic, and the actual mask ROMs that hold the game data. We have connectors at the top and bottom. The bottom ones actually interface with the Naomi. We have space for more mask ROMs and some more glue logic. So that's a look inside a typical Naomi cartridge. So I wanted to show you also have a Naomi I, powers on, no display. I bought this really cheap, so I'm going to try and get it working. As you can see, it looks very similar to Naomi II, but it's white and a lot less powerful, but still more powerful than a Dreamcast. I've checked various things like the CPU fan, because apparently Naomi won't boot if the CPU fan's not spinning, but that seems to be okay. The system fan's definitely not working, you can see it's unplugged here, but it should still boot even without that. But I'll keep diagnosing it, and if I can get it working, it'd be a great bonus, and I could do a video about it.